Hello, everyone. I hope every one of you is doing well and trying to find some time for birding or just enjoying nature and wildlife. Today's session is more about getting you introduced um, to the birds of the Eastern Himalayas. And Eastern Himalayas, I would say, is the most richest when it comes to birding in Indian subcontinent, to be precise, in India. A quick introduction about ourselves. We are iBirder. I represents India. I can call it Indian, but the logo represents basically the forest, the bird watchers, and the bird. That's what it's all about. Primarily a 2-year-old organization. We've been passionately trying to spread the love of birding. That's what we have done so far. We try to help beginners who are just getting into bird watching, and try to help them also introduce regions across the country where they can visit and spend some time. I think we strongly believe one thing is this whole industry is a circular economy, because when you venture out, go for a birding any location, you just don't help that bird guide, but you also help the homestay. You also help the whole transit system while you're coming from an airline or a railway or a roadway. So I think it's a completely ecotourism where everyone benefits. At the same time, the only value which we expect everyone to do is do an ethical birding, ensure that we don't harm the environment or the species by any means, just like we have experienced in the past where people, just for getting an image, uh, they start clicking around bird nest. We don't recommend that. It's absolutely no. Any image which you want to take it in a natural environment, as compared to disturbing the bird or the habitat. It doesn't help from a long-term perspective. So with that, I hope you had a chance to go through the vision, mission, and value. They're pretty simple, but the crux of it is we want to love the spread of birding, and that's what myself and my partner, Dr. Sudhir, are trying to do here. Um, I have included around 20 plus bird images here, and I'm just going to walk through some of them, and so that it's easy for you whenever you plan to visit. You can ensure that these are your target species. And while the list is long, the intent was that have a small snippet of what all birds I captured on my first visit, and that's how you grow. Because at the end of the day, it's all about industry, getting your foot in the field, and that makes you a better birder, a better bird watcher, a better photographer. And we, as an organization, we help in all these aspects from a journey perspective. So with that, let's get started. I think I do want to share the first bird, and this is the green-tailed sunbird. It's a male. It's a beautiful. Um, you can see that iridescent color as well, right? As soon as the sun hits at a certain pose on its head, you can see uh, the bird is completely shining, whether it's its head or its tail. Beautiful color, and this was captured in Eaglenest Sanctuary, which is based out of Arunachal Pradesh. Tough terrain. It's not easy to do birding there because one, it rains. Second, the climate is pretty unpredictable, and third, this is mostly natural birding. There are no hides, and these are two camps, Bompu camp and Lama camp. These are two tribes basically who manage the whole sanctuary, and basically it's a community driven sanctuary, so you will end up paying some amount at every juncture as part of the community fees for sustainability of it. um, it's a beautiful bird, and if you land up there, you will get to experience and see them more. um, the next bird which I want to talk about is Watts trogon. So in India we have three trogons, and Wards is the most sought after, not found anywhere in India apart from Eagle Nest, or you land up in Bhutan. Um, This was an image when it was raining heavily, so I was not that lucky, but eventually we were able to see this bird. So it was quite far. And thanks to my prime lens, which is a 600 with Canon 1DX Mark II, I was able to get a shot, a decent shot, I would say, of a eagle nest. I would love to get a much closer shot. This one is a male, absolutely in a plumage, and was quite far from us. India has got three trogons. This one is the rarest. The other two are red-headed trogon and Malabar trogon. I think I'm going to talk about red-headed trogon because this is another image which we got in the eastern Himalayas. That was Mahananda. Moving on, this one is the third bird. I think it's a white-browed yellow warbler. I've mentioned the name, so you can go through it. Restless fellow, keeps on moving here and there. So very hard to get a decent shot of this bird. But I was lucky. This was again Eaglenest. I do recommend all of you visiting Eaglenest. Is Make sure that you're wearing leech socks because Eaglenest all across has leeches and a lot of leeches. Arunachal, the leeches are much more bigger in size. So just to avoid yourself from leech bites, highly recommend a rain jacket, a wind cheater, also a raincoat for your camera and lens. It's absolutely necessary to protect your gears. The next bird is a crested finchbill. This is a bird which I saw it for the first time. This is Meghalaya, and found almost a flock of finchbills, and this is 4-hour drive from Shillong, where we get this crested finchbill. This is black-throated Prinia. This is a male, was quite, friendly with us, so was roaming around here and there when we were in Eaglenest. And I have not seen this bird across India. I think it's only found in the northeastern part of the country. Blue-throated barbet, this is Mahananda, which is the northern part or North Bengal. So Mahananda Wildlife Sanctuary is a pretty vast biosphere overall. The upper Mahananda and the lower Mahananda. So this was lower Mahananda. So this barbet came and practically gave a very decent shot to all of us. And the funny part is that the moment I got the shot, the cloud cover came in and practically this whole place was not even seen. So that's what, the whole mountain regions are all about. You generally find that the weather changes pretty fast. So get an opportunity, click the shot, and then you never know if you're going to get a chance or not. Moving on to the next bird, this is black bulbuls. I think I found a pair of two of them in Eaglenest. They were chatting about how's life going on. So it was fun to see the bills clearly. If you can see, it's dark red, pretty distinct. We don't get to see them in other parts, but here they were just having a good time on an afternoon, which was just the rain stopped and both these guys came and was trying to just enjoy that afternoon. This was again Eaglenest. This is rufous neck hornbills. So rufous neck hornbills are vulnerable as per the International Union for Conservation, and this is in Mahananda. So this bird, we don't have more than 10,000 birds left. So they're highly regarded by the village community in Mahananda. This is Latpanchar where we get it. So every year, I would say all bird lovers flock to Latpanchar. It's a small hamlet based out of Mahananda Wildlife Sanctuary, the Upper Mahananda. And people love to see this bird where it comes, it breeds, and this image actually it represents it's hugging the nest. So the female is inside the tree, and as the whole the nesting season is on, so it takes the responsibility of basically flying out and then getting a fruit, coming back and feeding. So that's what they do. This is rufous neck. One thing I want to tell you, the lines on the beak represents how old they are. So this one is a 5-year-old hornbill, a rufous neck hornbill. As I said, we'll talk about trogon. So this is the second trogon, but this one is, we found it in Mahananda. This is a red-headed trogon. Very tough to find this guy in a complete, open perch. I think we invested around 4-5 hours waiting for this bird, and finally this bird landed up on this perch. Tough guy to get, but doable. I think found across eastern Himalayas. Red-headed trogon are sought after. Very beautiful. This is a male, and this bird is the second rarest within the trogon family. Moving on, this is a green cochua. It's a male. Again, we found this bird in Mahananda. I think green cochuas are, there are only two cochuas found in India. One is a purple cochua, which is, I would say, rarest, and green cochua, I would say it's rare. But again, difficult bird to find. Feeds again on insects, fruits. And we found this guy in Mahananda Wildlife Sanctuary. So Blitz Kingfisher, again, this is part of our Arunachal trip. Blitz Kingfisher is found in Pakke Tiger Reserve. As well, we have sightings of Blitz in Manas, but I would say the most difficult bird when it comes to kingfishers. I think if someone is interested in doing kingfishers of India, we have 12 kingfishers in India. I would say Blitz is gonna make make the most toughest part of the overall process in terms of getting a decent shot. I waited 8 hours for this bird, and finally this bird showed up on a perch where I was able to click. I think this is one of my most cherished image, because I know how much effort I've put in. And it has a story on its own. Maybe on a different vlog I'm going to share that. But this this bird, if you're able to collect this bird, then practically, I would say the rest of the kingfishers will be fairly easy for you to collect, although you have to roam across India. But yeah. This is again Pakke Tiger Reserve in Arunachal, and this was on an evening where we found the wreath hornbill. So this is a pair of wreath hornbill. The yellow is the male, the blue is the female. And I think every evening they just return back after their tour. So that's what they did. They were just traveling back. So it's a pretty far off shot, but a decent one to at least get a show of, a pair, how do both look like. We talked about green-tailed sunbird in the first slide when we were looking at. So this one is a green-tailed sunbird female. Females are generally much more duller in terms of color when it comes to the overall avian world. So males are generally much more colorful. That's how you distinct yourself from which one is a colorful bird and which one is not that colorful. So not that colorful, I would say, mostly you can say it's female. So that's the easier distinction as compared to males who have to work hard. So that's the reason they have color, because they need to attract females. So again, this bird, again, we got an eagle nest. This is the other bird, which is Mrs. Gould sunbird, very colorful male. We just got lucky, came, sat in front of us, spent some time, and then moved out. So we got this bird again in Eaglenest Sanctuary. Gray cheek parrotbill. All parrotbills are quite tough to get and not easy to get a green background. And I think we have to be really lucky to find that. But Eaglenest Sanctuary again, I think this was a quite a risky bet what we took, because that area is known for elephants, and elephants are pretty aggressive when we look at northeast side of India. So be careful when you're landing up in Eaglenest. Safety comes first, so please be on a watch out, and whosoever bird guide is helping you getting the bird shots, listen to them. They know the locality and also the vulnerability of those regions. So this will help you stay safe, and your gears will be safe. And then we have yellow rummed honey guide. I think it fairly explains the face. If you see, there is a yellow color, loves to eat and feed on honey. So most of the time, the reason it's called yellow rummed honey guide is because it thrives on a honeybee nest. So mostly you'll find this bird sitting on a honeybee nest and enjoying some of the honey. So that what gives the name. So on a quiet afternoon, the yellow ram honey guide was just perching around, and while we were just driving, we saw the bird. We stopped the car, get out of it, and we just got a decent shot of it. This bird is a spangled drongo, also called as hair-crested drongo. If you see in the bird, there is a small hair, which just on top of its head. So it's also called hair-crested drongo. This is from Mahananda Sanctuary. And this bird, I won't say it's available in abundance, but this bird will give you a very decent shot if you land up in Mahananda. Very beautiful bird. Within the drongo family, I find this is the most most colorful and most elegant drongo. Scarlet minivet is pretty commonly found across India, but I think from a ecology and from a plumage perspective, the color of the bird changes. So this one is, if you can see, the color scarlet comes out pretty bright, and that's what the beauty of the northeast forest are all about. You'll find the birds in a much more darker, much brighter plumage. So clicked in Mahananda. This is the male, and the female is in yellow color. I never got a female there, but quietly represents why it gets its name, scarlet minivet. So India has two leochiclas. One is the red-faced leochicla, which you can see here. And then the other one is also named after a tribe in Arunachal in Eaglenest Sanctuary. This is Bugun leochicla. So Bugun is the tribe, and that's how the bird gets its name. So that bird was also recently discovered, I think around 1998. So pretty fairly new in terms of the find. Hard to get it unless you time it well. Whenever you land up, if you get it around nesting season, I think that's the time when they're more active. So red-faced leochiclas, again, they don't come out. It's very hard to get them in an open perch. So this bird, I think I had a good glimpse of it. A little bit of processing, and practically, you can at least see the bird in terms of why it gets its name, a red-faced leochicla. These are cibia. So there are two kind of cibias found there. I think there are more, but this one is a long-tailed cibia. As you can see, the tail is longer for the bird. And long-tailed cibias, again, found in Eaglenest Sanctuary. One thing I would definitely recommend is that all these birds generally are found not in apt, lighting conditions. So whenever, be ready to make changes to your camera settings, whether you're carrying a mirrorless or not a mirrorless. I'm a Canon fellow, so I use 1DX Mark II as well as my R5. I find that, if you stick with one setting, you might struggle with some of the images. So just keep that on back of your mind, because the environment, the color, the lighting all changes pretty fast, specifically in mountains. So that way you can make greater images. And then we have rufous neck laughing thrush. So it's found in Mahananda. I think India has a lot of laughing thrush. Across South Asian, I would say, laughing thrush is a thriving community of birds and various different colors. So this one gets its name from its neck. If you can see, it's rufous in color, so that's the reason it's called rufous neck laughing thrush. Pretty active bird. I think the local bird guide helped me a lot, and it responded well, so we were able to make a shot of rufous neck laughing thrush. Next is yellow cheek tit. I see there's a spelling mistake, but yeah, it's a yellow cheek tit. I think a small bird, but at the same time pretty bright in color, and just decided to stand on a perch where just made it look so majestic. So we just went through it and just captured a nice shot, a decent shot of this bird. Pretty handsome fellow. It's a male. So with that, we come to an end to the presentation. I think overall idea was to walk you through a little bit about what is all birding looks like in the northeast part of India. So look forward to more vlogs and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.